At least 2 people are dead and a stretch of I-75 remains closed 3 hours after this fiery crash. We're live from the scene with the latest.
Putting the wraps on an absolutely gorgeous weather day for Election Day here in the Bluegrass State. I've got a taste of September filling the air just ahead.
He was on the FBI's most wanted list, a Central Kentucky man on the run for 6 years. How the fugitive was captured in Virginia.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. The rain is gone for now, and it's a beautiful afternoon across the Bluegrass. This is a live look at Triangle Park in downtown Lexington, where it's in the mid-70s right now with lots of sunshine. WKYT's Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris, lots of blue skies.
Yeah, it doesn't get a whole lot better than what we have out there today as we make our way through the next couple of days. Actually, you may say, if you like a little cooler weather, that it does get better. But look at our sky. Jennifer was just talking about this over the downtown area. Right now, Hamburg Pavilion, blue skies, little hint of some high-level clouds coming in, 75 degrees. Humidity, though, way down. You walk outside and you can breathe now. Winds are coming at us from the northwest. That's a cooler wind that is blowing, and right on cue, those cooler temperatures now begin to show up across the northern parts of the region. Lexington, not a whole lot of change from this same point yesterday. 2 degrees cooler Frankfort, 3 degrees cooler into the Louisville area, 4 degrees colder Covington. It gets a whole lot colder than that. We're still a little above normal into parts of southeastern Kentucky. Nothing showing up on live First Alert Defender. Don't expect a whole heck of a lot out there over the next 24 hours. Chilly night ahead. I've got a cool stretch of days. And then, Jennifer, as we go toward your weekend, when you know what, the humidity increases and thus our storm chances start to ramp up as well. That's when I come back in 15 minutes.
Thanks, Chris. We're tracking a crash on Interstate 75 in Rockcastle County that has killed 2 people and shut down the southbound lanes. Several tractor trailers and a car collided, causing a FedEx truck to burst into flames. Kentucky State Police have closed the southbound lanes near mile marker 71. That's about 5 miles south of Berea, near the Madison-Rockcastle County line. The crash happened about 3 hours ago. Victor Puente has the latest from I-75. He's live in Rockcastle County with our top story at 4. Victor?
I'm standing on the edge of southbound I-75. Behind me are a lot of the vehicles that were involved in that crash. One of them is still smoldering. State police tell us 2 people are dead. Some of the drivers involved in that crash tell me traffic had stopped because of construction further down the interstate. They tell me they heard squealing brakes and then saw an explosion. They say a FedEx truck hit the trailer of another truck, starting a chain reaction. The driver of that FedEx truck died. A driver from another truck was taken to the hospital. In between 2 of those other trucks was a small silver passenger car. It was destroyed and the person inside was killed.
Traffic was at a standstill. Heard some brakes and looked in the rearview mirror and just seen an explosion. And it was like a domino effect, each truck bouncing into another one.
State police tell me an accident reconstruction crew from Frankfort is on their way out here. He said they plan to have these lanes, these southbound lanes, closed throughout most of the evening, so they will be diverting traffic throughout the night. Live in Rockcastle County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Southbound traffic is being detoured on US 25. Berea police say traffic on that road is heavy and moving slowly. A southern Kentucky man accused of shooting a woman in the head is now in jail. WKYT broke the news of Mark Showalter's arrest this morning. The 55-year-old is charged with attempted murder. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says Mark Showalter shot a woman on Sunday at a home on East Highway 452. His son, Timothy Showalter, is also charged in the case. At last check, the victim was in critical condition. A Lexington man who was on the FBI's most wanted list is back behind bars this afternoon and awaiting extradition. The FBI says James Hammis was arrested in Virginia. He's accused of stealing nearly $9 million while he was working at G&J Pepsi-Cola bottlers in Lexington. Hammis disappeared back in 2009 after being interviewed by the FBI. He'll soon be extradited to Ohio, where his former employer is based. Coming up at 5, hear from the woman who runs the bed and breakfast where Hammis was captured. She says she's known him for years. It's Election Day in Kentucky. Voters are heading to the polls to decide which candidates will move on to the November general election in a number of statewide races. The most high-profile race is the Republican primary for governor. Matt Bevin, James Comer, and Hal Heiner are all neck and neck, according to a WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass poll. Will T. Scott is a distant fourth. We'll take a closer look at the governor's race coming up at 5. And stay with WKYT and WKYT.com for team coverage of the races. We'll have the first results on WKYT News at 6 and updates throughout the night. Live, continuous election coverage from WKYT and the Herald Leader begins at 6:30 on WKYT.com. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT News starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. Investigators have identified a woman killed in a central Kentucky crash. It happened yesterday on Frankfort Road near Wilmore. Deputies say Jeffrey Tuggle was behind the wheel. His passenger, 56-year-old Marlene Chafin of Nicholasville, was thrown from his car and ended up underneath it. She later died at UK Hospital. Tuggle has been charged with DUI, but those charges will likely be upgraded. We'll have much more on the investigation coming up in a report on WKYT News at 4:30. Another person has been charged in connection to a theft ring involving bourbon out of Franklin County. A grand jury indicted 34-year-old Leslie Wright on a charge of complicity to receiving stolen property. Wright is a former security guard at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Prosecutors say Wright was paid to look the other way while thieves stole barrels of bourbon. 9 other people face charges in connection to the bourbon theft ring. We'll have more details in the case coming up on WKYT News at 5. And some hikers are okay this afternoon after taking extreme measures to be rescued. Powell County Search and Rescue posted this picture of the half-dressed men online. The group says the hikers went into the woods wearing more clothes, but when they got lost and it turned dark, they ripped off their clothes and burned them for light. They were found just before 1 in the morning. You're going to hear the 911 call and from one of the rescuers on WKYT News at 6. That is a look at just some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Police in North Texas continue to process more than 100 people arrested after Sunday's deadly brawl involving biker gangs outside Waco. They're hopeful the worst is over, but remain on guard for the possibility of more violence. Ryan Nobles has the latest.
As police in Waco, Texas pieced together the events that led to Sunday's bloody biker gang brawl, officials remain on edge.
There have been credible, reliable threats towards law enforcement in and around our area.
Police say the threats have toned down over the past 24 hours, but they continue to ask for cooperation from local gangs gunning for revenge.
We are asking them to stand down. We are asking them to let us sort through our investigation.
9 people were killed and another 18 were injured in Sunday's bloodbath. Waco police say Tuesday that 7 of the injured remain in local area hospitals. Most are in stable condition. 170 people were also arrested in connection with the violence. All of them have been processed by police.
Many of them were not from the local Waco community. There is a wide list of where they are from.
Police are starting to build a timeline for what led to the violence. They say one group of bikers held a planned meeting at the Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco, what they call a coalition of several biker groups.
We know an additional biker gang that was not invited to this meeting showed up.
Police added one gang member may have had his foot run over by a rival gang member, and that may have started the brawl. Assaults occurred both inside and outside of the restaurant. Police are still working to notify next of kin and say it could be weeks or even months before the full results of their investigation are released. I'm Ryan Nobles reporting.
We've also learned today 3 bikers who were arrested were released by mistake. They were initially given a lower bond of $50,000 instead of the $1 million blanket bond that was later set for all 170 arrested. Police are searching for those 3 bikers. Federal authorities say it's not clear if anything hit the windshield of an Amtrak train before it derailed in Philadelphia last week, but they say it was not a gunshot. The FBI performed forensic work on a grapefruit-sized crack on the left side of the Amtrak locomotive's windshield. Investigators have been focusing on the speed of the train, which topped 100 miles an hour, heading into a curve and derailing, killing 8 people and injuring more than 200.